Some people are complaining that we're late, and that when we travel, someone said that the Banter setup always looks like a potato. I mean, a potato is a bad word, but that's what they said. And other people are saying, well, even when Banter travel, they still bring you a show. So I'm in the camp of, even when we travel, we still work hard to bring you a show every single day. And today is no different, even though Bitcoin is just moving sideways again. But I think that this sideways movement is about to end, and there's going to be a move. And I'm going to show you today why I think there's about to be a move. And my own phone is working. I'm going to show you why the sideways movement is about to end, and we may see a big breakout to the upside. And I'm going to show you where the bees are moving to, because what they're doing is they're leaving one ecosystem, and I'm going to show you why they're leaving that ecosystem, and they're moving to another ecosystem. And that I'm going to show you at the end of the show. So stay tuned. I'm also going to be doing some giveaways. I've got a lot of giveaways here today. Let's get this show on the Yeah, we haven't heard that song in a while, but the people here in Miami kept saying to us, please play the Get the Fuck Out of Bed Bitch Go song. It just makes us so happy. So there it is. It's the Get the Fuck Out of Bed Bitch Go song, and that's for the people who met us here in Miami. And let me tell you, Miami was insane. It is insane. With the people that we met, the conference, we gave away 1,500 tickets to the conference, to the Banter fam. And we had 1,500 fans there, at least. And it was so incredible to meet the people. The conference was great. There was also one point in the conference which was so super amazing for me, and that is that, our friend Sheldon, you got to remember that Sheldon a year ago was pretty much down and out. And I don't think he's ever traveled outside of South Africa. And he came to the USA, and he's got a big fear of public speaking. He's got a massive fear of public speaking. He's never been on a stage before. He's never been to a crypto conference before. So there was one part in the conference where I got him onto stage. Watch this.
Good morning, fellow Degens. Good morning, Banter fam. We have a family of like-minded people around the world, which I'm sure you guys have met. We're all regular people, and that's what Banter's about. It's about being authentic, being regular people, and building the most loyal community in the world. He was a carpenter who invested in a crypto scam, lost everything in a crypto scam, had to sell his carpentry tools. Lost his dad to suicide, had to look after his family. When I left the event, he said to me, and you've got to understand, whenever I go to places, people always say to me, watch this token, watch this token. He said to me, watch these two tokens. Next morning I woke up, both tokens done 100%. I'm going to hand it over to Sheldon.
Trust everybody. $400, and I learned to ride a wave up, learned to take profits. I then, doesn't matter if it went up more, I was patient. I was then able to buy another 30% more coins in the dough. The next pump up, all of a sudden, my portfolio is 70% up. I'm sitting at $1,000. From my 1,000, I managed to get to $1 million in a matter of 7 months. Hardest part was that $400 to that 1,000. From the 1,000 upwards from that was easy, because it was just the rules that I had to learn, and I didn't give up. In order to become a shark, you have to go through a certain amount of experience, right? People don't get that. They come in the market, they think, this is going to change my life. The majority of them might make a little bit of money in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, the sharks come and they eat them all up, and we have the flushing system. Crypto is a numbers game. It's an emotion game. It is quite simple. The sharks are buying at the bottom over here. You can incorporate the simple strategy of buy your favorite tokens, buy the great fundamental tokens, but learn to become a shark. Learn to understand. Wait, don't chase into the pumps. Wait for the market to then recover. You guys have given me a lot of faith, and all the people I've met, a lot of inspiration, and I'm truly, truly grateful to Ran for giving me the shot, brother. Well done, brother. And what Ran's just done for me now, I've just broken resistance. I've just entered all-time high. I'm in price discovery. Where we're going next. Thank you, everyone.
Man, I tell you got a standing ovation. It was the first standing ovation I saw in the conference, and he completely conquered his fear of public speaking. So an amazing experience with the Banter fam. And look, if you're not part of the Banter fam, you're absolutely missing out. I'll tell you that much. If you want to be part of the Banter fam, just subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, there's so many opportunities for you to meet the fam. We're also doing the Banter bags, and we've got a new Banter bags, a new contribution to the Banter bags. This time it's from a company called Launch My NFT. They've given us $1,000 in the Banter bags. This is an unbelievable project because it's an IDO that is happening. I think it's starting on the 20th. I think it's starting today, and it's one of those projects that is designed to make NFTs more mainstream, and it's backed by some of the biggest investors out there. I'm just reading some of the investors, Animoco Brands, eToro, we invested behind them. The founders are these huge YouTubers. They've got 18 million followers or something on YouTube. It's something unbelievable. And what they're really trying to do is they're trying to make NFTs much more usable to mainstream people. And so, yeah, that's another one. They gave us $1,000 for the Banter bags. Yeah, it's called Launch My NFT, and the website is launchmynft.io. So if you want to go and check it out, go and do that. Also, if you're part of the community and you're watching the website, well, if you're not watching the website, then sorry for you, because you're missing out on everything. One is, just by interacting with the website, I'm going to be giving away Syn City $100 IDO vouchers, $100 pre-IDO tokens. Not only that, the amount of alpha on this website is unparalleled, and the amount of engagement on this website is completely unparalleled. Even when we were off yesterday, we had articles about the top 5 metaverse players. We had articles about DeFi 2.0 summer, and that shows how money is moving away from DeFi 1.0 and moving into this new thing called DeFi 2.0. Why you should be investing in things like Astroport. There's a chart of the day that drops, and I think today there's going to be 3 charts dropping on here. Miles Deutscher, who is, I think, one of the whiz kids today of DeFi, he wrote an article around lunar staking strategies. Just go to the website. It's all there. It's the easiest thing in the world. And the best thing is that the website, the stories actually come out before the show, because what we do is we do research for the show, and what we do is we just drop it on the website, and then we do the show. So you really have to come here. And someone just said it. Someone just said on screen, said it's genuinely non-stop alpha. That's exactly what it is. And as I've said to you guys before, our website is integrated into Twitter. The only way you can sign in is sign in with Twitter, like I've just done. And it's a Twitter experience. Whoever you are on Twitter, you are on our website. And basically, you can interact, and exactly like you do at Twitter, it looks and feels like Twitter. We try to make it really as easy for you guys to use. So that's the website. And if you're not there, well, you can't win. And what you can do, you can go to the website now, interact with it. And at the end of the show, I'm going to give out Syn City. I'm going to give out $100 pre-IDO vouchers into Syn City. So, and remember, Syn City is that game that is launching pretty soon. I'm not sure of the launch date. They did delay the launch date for some reason, but they are going to launch it, and it's going to be a great game. Coin is an advisor, and there's a lot of hype around that game. So that's something that's amazing. I think the launch is actually on Copper launch. I think that's where it is. Alrighty. So that's the giveaways for today. Let's talk about the more important thing, which is the markets. And there's lots that I want to talk to you about on the markets, but I need you guys to smash that like button, because we weren't here yesterday, so not many people know that we are back online. Let's go. Let's talk about what is going on in the markets. And I know at face value, it kind of feels like boring. Like it is. It just kind of feels like boring. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing like it's that sideways feeding. But don't worry about the sideways feeling. And I'll tell you why I think you shouldn't worry about the sideways feeling. Because I'm starting to get the same, what's the word I'm looking for? That same feeling that I got in June 2021 before everything started to explode. So I'm starting to get that same feeling. And I'm going to show you today why I'm getting that same feeling and why the sideways movement may actually be really, really, really short-lived. So I don't think that the sideways movement is going to last for very, very long. I think the sideways movement is going to be very, very, very short-lived. You notice that we're hovering around the 42,744, and we were at 42,000 and 41,900 up until yesterday. And the reason why we are going up today, right now, and I was hoping to show you this just before the show, but as I started the show, the price started to move. It's actually quite simple. It's because there's an options closeout tomorrow, like there is every Friday. And if you look at the options closeout tomorrow, the options closeout price is 43,000. The max pain price, which is the price where both the buyers and the sellers are at max pain, that's usually where the options close out closest to, is $43,000. And what you can see is that already with just a few hours or 24 hours or so to go until the options close out, bang, the price is starting to move more towards 43,000. It was at 41,500 to 41,900, but because we're nearing that options closeout, we're now getting much closer to that point of max pain. So big. The other big thing that you need to know about, which is probably a very bullish sign, let me show you that. So that's the point of max pain. The other thing that you need to be looking at is what's happening next week. Because remember that there is an options closeout every Friday. But the big options closeout is obviously the month-end options closeout. And next week, Friday, 28th of January, is the big options closeout. So the smart money would kind of say, look, if traditionally, the options always tend to the point of max pain before the options closeout, then what we should be doing is let's look at the options closeout for next week and say, okay, well, we know that this week is at 43,000. Where's the options closeout for next week? That's what the smart money would be doing. So let's be smart money and let's look at where the options closeout is for next week. And we see that today's option closeout is at 43,000. And next week, the point of max pain right now, and it can change, it changes all the time, the point of max pain is at 46,000, which means that we could actually start seeing Bitcoin go towards 46,000 before the options close out for next week. Remember, it can change, but right now, if we take all the data that we have right now, then it shows us that we could be getting to 46,000 by next week. That's it. This does actually tie up with a whole lot of fundamental news. So the fundamental news is that the Fed is having a meeting next week. It's the Fed monthly FOMC meeting. And all eyes are on the Fed and what the Fed's going to do. Now, right now, the whole market is being moved by the interest rate discussion and what the Fed may be doing. That's driving the stock markets. The stock markets are driving the crypto markets. The crypto markets corrected before the stock markets. And the crypto markets can't recover because they're so worried about what's happening on the stock markets. And the stock markets are so worried about what the Fed's going to do about inflation. So we're in that pattern where crypto collapsed and now crypto is trying to recover, but it can't recover because the stock market won't let it recover because the stock market is so worried about inflation. But there is a Fed meeting next week. And what we've seen is that the equivalent of the Fed in Europe, the ECB, the European Central Bank, and the People's Bank of China were both friendly to the markets. They were both dovish to the markets. So we're in this pattern where China actually reduced interest rates. The European Central Bank is kind of saying, look, we're going to carry on with the stimulus and we're going to carry on funding the markets. They're what they call dovish, which is positive to the markets. And all eyes are now on the Fed. And the Fed's meeting is next week. And that correlates with the options close next week. Now, the options closeout is point of max pain 46,000, which indicates that there is a chance that the Fed will actually be bullish next week. And if the Fed's actually bullish next week, that could take the market up. At the same time, we also have a whole lot of other factors where I said to you, I'm getting that same feeling that I had in June 2021, before the market exploded and we went to all-time highs. I'm getting that same feeling. The feeling that I'm getting is that you can separate the on-chain metrics and you can separate the fundamentals from the market for periods of time. But you cannot separate fundamentals, real fundamentals, not bullshit fundamentals, not like hot air fundamentals, but actual real fundamentals and on-chain data from the price. The same thing happened in April, May, and June last year, where at this point over here, and I'll show you this point over here, when we were around here, the on-chain fundamentals, the on-chain data and the fundamentals were completely detached from the market. And eventually what happened was we got to a point where we bottomed and then we shot up very quickly and we shot up to all-time highs. So, and I'm starting to get exactly the same feeling here. Not only that, the pattern is kind of playing out exactly the same. If you look at this pattern over here, let me try and make it a bit smaller for you guys so you can see it. But if you look at this pattern over here, and you compare it to where we are now, you can see the same pattern is starting to form. And the reason why I say it's starting to feel very much like that is because, let me show you what I'm looking at, and then you tell me whether you think that the fundamentals are aligning with the on-chain data, and eventually, if that happens, then the market has to agree. The first thing is, I think that there is more money now on the sidelines than there has ever been in crypto. Companies raised $4 billion in the last 2 days to invest in crypto growth. You had FTX with a $2 billion fund. You have Pantera with a $1 billion fund. You have Crypto.com. You have Blossom Capital. You have Entree Capital. That is $4 billion that somehow, at some point, has to enter the market. No discussion about it. At the same time, you've got Andreessen. Andreessen is looking for $4.5 billion for new crypto investments. That's according to an FNT article, a Financial Times article. It says Andreessen's looking for $4.5 billion for new crypto investments. So you're in this market where there's money on the sidelines that's waiting to flow into crypto. Now, the market can keep going down. Eventually, the money has to go into the market. When the money goes into the market, eventually the market has to go up. You can't deny that. And I saw the same thing. You can see James Lavish publishes a tweet. He says, how Bitcoin will eventually reach over $1 million per coin. He says there's currently $700 trillion of global assets. Bitcoin is $1 trillion or $900 billion, which represents 0.13% of global assets, which means that most portfolio managers are currently underweight Bitcoin. Because right now, Bitcoin's market cap is 0.13 of global assets. But if you look at what's going on in crypto right now, and again, this is all the stuff that's bubbling underneath. And eventually, I said this in June, July last year, I said, it's like a volcano. It just, the pressure keeps coming and the pressure keeps coming and the pressure keeps coming. And eventually it erupts. And you can see the pressure. There's money sitting on the sidelines waiting to be deployed. You've got every single company in the world now. You know, I said yesterday, we have arrived. It's not like crypto is coming. You're talking about Google, President of Commerce, crypto is something we pay a lot of attention to. That's just one article. Coinbase, this has just happened in one day. Coinbase and MasterCard NFT, Intel building Bitcoin mining chips, Cash App integrates Lightning into the US, Milo offers 100% backed Bitcoin loans, Microsoft spends $70 billion buying Activision, crypto exchange buys 268-year-old new bank. So you're seeing a whole lot of fundamentals that are happening. You're seeing Ethereum moved more money last year than Visa. Ethereum moved more money than Visa last year. Okay, Visa moved $10.4 trillion. Ethereum moved $11.6 trillion in value last year. According to SoFon XYZ, Solana is casually settling between $1 to $3 trillion worth of assets per day. You can't have this disconnect between what's actually happening and the market price for very long. Facebook announced today, Facebook and Instagram will allow users to create, display, and sell NFTs. All this is happening today. Prada and Adidas announced an NFT today. There's a shift. There's a shift that's happening. There's a shift that's happening, and there's money that's sitting on the side, and you actually cannot ignore this shift. So that is the fundamental data that is saying the market is starting to detach from the reality of the price. The market is starting to detach from the reality of what's going on in this asset class. And then you get the on-chain metrics. And the on-chain metrics are telling you exactly the same thing. It's not only the fundamentals, it's the on-chain metrics that are also detaching from the reality of what's going on in the market. Let's look at the on-chain metrics quickly. The fear and greed index. The fear and greed index has been at extreme fear since the beginning of the year. In fact, let me quickly show you something. Let me show you a piece from Sheldon's presentation yesterday. Great presentation. The guy knocked it out of the park, made me so super proud. I mean, what he did yesterday in front of that audience, it was insane. Let me quickly just show you a piece from his presentation. He took the fear and greed index and he said, look, let's look at all the other times that the fear and greed index has been this low for this long. There's 1, 2, 3. Then let's look at the chart and see what happened to the charts when that happened. 1, 2, 3. We're in the third time now. The last 2 times we had parabolic bull runs. Okay. Again, we're just looking at the on-chain data, and what we're saying is, just a second. Why is Google recommending face creams? Guys, just a second. Just what's going on here? Have I aged? Is it the beard?
It's anti-potato cream.
But what's going on here? Why is it recommending me moisturizers? I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy shit. All right. Anyway, so the fear and greed index is there, and we know what happens when the fear and greed index remains this low for this long. Then you've got some other on-chain metrics which are telling you that this is the on-chain metrics are telling you that the price should be going up and the price is going down. Not going to happen. Reserve risk quantifies hodler's conviction relative to price. And right now, you can see that the reserve risk is overcooled, which means that right now, hodlers have much more conviction than they've ever had. Funding rates. Funding rates are the leverage rates. Based on comparing the leverage ratio against the funding rates, 2022 will be very bullish, the same as late 2020 and mid 2021. Because when the funding rates go up, the leverage ratios go down, which is what we've been saying. And now the funding rates are going up. So there we go. You can see that that's another on-chain indicator. There's also on-chain indicators which show us that the cycle is going to be lengthened, which is exactly what we said. The cycle is going to be lengthened. And lastly, we've got Bitcoin decoupling from the stock markets. So we saw the stock markets, and particularly the tech NASDAQ, going down the other day, and Bitcoin's kind of said, look, we corrected ahead of you. We corrected ahead of you, and now we're basically just fixing our correction. We corrected ahead of you, and we're not going to go down anymore. So even though you're going to go down, we're just going to continue to decouple from you. That's basically what's going on. So I think I'm seeing and I'm getting that feeling that we can't be disconnected from the fundamentals and the on-chain metrics for very much longer. And it's the same feeling that I had last year in June, and that's when I really went all in, and I took you guys all in, and I started to publish portfolios. And I think that's what we're going to need to start doing again. We're going to need to start publishing portfolios because I'm getting that same feeling. So in the next couple of days, we'll be publishing some portfolios. Now, there is one analyst that I saw that said, look, we may actually get one more final capitulation. He says, he did a quick take. He looks at the long-term holder spent output ratio and the short-term holder spent output ratio, which basically says he's looking at take a look at the short-term holders sentiment. You can see that the sentiment chart, the short-term holders are selling their Bitcoins in a loss. If we compare that with the May capitulation, you can see that the loss was 74 days. But the more important thing during this bear market was when the short-term holders spent output ratio goes under 93, we see capitulation. Currently, we are most of the time around 99, and he's saying, look, there may be one more flash crash to shake out the weekends. He's saying if the flash crash does happen, then it's going to go down to 36,000 or 38,000. Okay, so if it does come, we're just going to go down to where it was. So that's the one opinion that I could find that maybe we're going to crash. Yeah, that's pretty much what I could find. So that's where we are. I think that we cannot be disconnected from the technicals and the fundamentals. Can't be disconnected for so much longer. We have to change. Something has to happen. We're there, and it has to happen. let's quickly get on to altcoins. And I see that one of our guests, I've got a guest for you guys. I see one of our guests is in the waiting room. I just want to see if the other one is joining. I see, okay. Okay, so I see one of them is joining. I see he is in the waiting room. All right, so let's quickly talk about some altcoins, and specifically let's talk about Fantom. Yesterday, Andre Cranier and Daniel Sester did a live on what they called Frog Radio, which was a live on Twitter. And they discussed the total value locked in Fantom, and they discussed the new project. The new project is pretty much a DEX with a genius design in how they lock up liquidity. And we'll do a whole show on that, and we'll walk you guys through a whole show on the DEX. But remember that a lot of money was going into Fantom because the Fantom snapshot, in order to get tokens for this DEX, instead of giving this as an airdrop, what they did was they were going to drop, they were going to airdrop the tokens to the top 20 Fantom protocols by total value locked on DeFi Llama. So if you were participating in the top 20 by total value locked on DeFi Llama, then you would get an airdrop of the token. In fact, no, more correctly, the protocol would get the airdrop, and the airdrop would then be distributed to the users of the protocol, but each protocol could decide how to distribute their tokens. So there was, in fact, one protocol that was designed for one reason. It's called veDAO, and it was designed for people who wanted to participate in the airdrop. So all they did was they designed a protocol, a DAO, and they said, look, deposit your Fantom into this DAO, and this DAO has no other use case but to get the airdrop. Now, this DAO has $1.5 billion already locked up, which is the second largest protocol in Fantom. So genius system, maybe go and check it out. There are a few risks here. One, I don't know if the DAO smart contracts have been audited. You need to go and do your own research. The other thing is that because people have locked up so many tokens for Fantom to get the airdrop, a lot of people may sell tomorrow. Now, it's a bad move to sell tomorrow after the TVL unlock, because you don't know how the protocols are going to be distributing the tokens. The protocols are going to get the tokens from the project, which they call ROC. But there's no clarity as to how the protocols themselves are going to be distributing the tokens. So the protocols may say, hey, no, we're only taking the snapshot for the next 60 days. So keep your eyes open for that. But there may be a small sell-off in Fantom. I don't think so. I'm still a long-term holder of Fantom. I'm not selling any of my Fantom for this. In fact, I'm still keeping my Fantom staked. I staked some in Yearn Finance. I staked some in Liquify, whatever it's called. I staked some in Spooky Swap. I staked some on Tomb. So I'm keeping my Fantom staked because I'm getting great returns on Fantom. And if you can be getting returns, why not be getting returns? Why do you want to give your money back? So it's I think it was a great catalyst to get more people. Yeah, someone says Reaper. So Reaper is a great place. It's an auto compounder. But remember, auto compounders do bring an extra bit of risk. So there may be a small sell-off on Fantom. And, as we say, the bees like to move. We said the bees were going to be in Luna in December, and we said they're going to be in Fantom in January. And now we're looking at Cardano coming in pretty soon. But also, there's another ecosystem which is exploding. And I think we need to talk about it because we don't talk enough about this ecosystem. And that ecosystem it's one which is kind of different from the traditional layer ones. And that is because if you think of the normal layer ones, you think about Avalanche, you think about Solana, you think about Ethereum, you pretty much have one single-minded theme across all of them. They're all smart contract networks. That's what they are. And so you can kind of call that, generation one blockchains, smart contract network generation one blockchains. The ecosystem where I think the bees may move to now is actually what might be what we call a layer two or a second iteration of blockchains. And that is a blockchain that deals in cross-chain or multi-chain futures. And things like Polkadot, for example, where Polkadot is a bridge between multiple blockchains. And so where I think the bees may be moving to now is to I don't know if you guys follow the Delphi digital reports, and tomorrow we have Jose Mercado coming back here. But they wrote an article yesterday, which I highly encourage everyone to read, and they talk about Atom, and they talk about Cosmos, and they talk about how a lot of projects are starting to migrate to Cosmos. Now, Cosmos is exactly what I said to you. It's almost like a bridge. They call it the Internet of Blockchains. It's a bridge between multiple blockchains. So it's almost like this. For simplicity, let's call it a bridge between multiple blockchains. It's a little bit more complicated than that, and we will spend a couple more days actually digging into Cosmos. But some of the biggest and best projects that you know are building on Cosmos. This is not a small project. Projects like Luna are built using the Cosmos ecosystem. Secret is built on Cosmos ecosystem. Injective Protocol is built on the Cosmos ecosystem. Sif Chain, they also built on the Cosmos ecosystem. So there are about 30 or 40 live chains on the Cosmos ecosystem, and they are serious chains because of the cross-chain functionality that this bridge this bridge of actually provides. Now, what Delphi Digital analyzed yesterday, and they wrote this in one of their reports, is you can see that Cosmos, the transactions are really starting to pick up now. The transactions, the total value, the total value locked, the users in the Cosmos ecosystem are pretty much starting to pick up. And that's because of a whole lot of factors. The first factor is that multiple strong blockchains are actually building using this Cosmos or Cosmos Tendermint system. The next thing is that there is now a very good bridge between Ethereum and Cosmos. So Ethereum is now connected to Cosmos courtesy of Osmosis Zone, a decentralized exchange. So there's a great bridge. But it's not only about the bridge, because there is also evms.org, which is a protocol, which is an EVM compatible protocol built on Osmosis, so built on Cosmos. So you now have the ability to kind of migrate Ethereum dApps onto this cross-chain protocol. There's bridges, there's ways to develop it. So what we're seeing is an explosion in an ecosystem which traditionally hasn't had as much hype and as much marketing as all the other blockchains. So Atom and Cosmos don't have as much hype and social sentiment as others. But there are a lot of the best and biggest chains that you guys know building on Cosmos. And the total value locked is increasing, and they have what you want to call a layer 1 DEX in Osmosis. So they have all the different components, and it does look like they're about to take off. And yesterday there was news about one of the protocols in this chain. There was some big news about one of the protocols in this chain. And before I talk about the protocol, I want to talk to you guys about the narrative before we talk about the protocol. So let's really go to the narrative. And the narrative was one that we spoke about in December on the Crypto Banter website, where you get free alpha every single day. You get free alpha. And what we said is that we think that in 2022, privacy is going to be one of the biggest themes out there. I think that privacy is going to be one of the biggest themes in blockchain in 2022. And the reason is, not because you need privacy to do illicit activities and drugs and private deals, but because it's not logical that every business in the world will expose every one of their transactions if they're going to be using a blockchain. And I keep saying to you guys, if you go to a coffee shop and you order a coffee and you pay for your coffee with your Ethereum, every single transaction that you've ever done on every one of your wallets ever is available to the barista who's just served you the coffee. It doesn't make sense. If you're a company and you're buying, if you're a supermarket and you're buying apples and you're using blockchain or internet money, blockchain money to pay for those apples, everyone knows who your supplier is. Everyone knows how often you're ordering, how often you're paying. It kind of doesn't make sense. And so there is a great need for privacy on the blockchain. There is a great need for private transactions on the blockchain. Huge need. And there are multiple plays fulfilling that need, but they're not fulfilling the entire need. So you've got things like Monero. Monero is a privacy coin where the transactions can't be tracked back. But that's just one part of privacy. That's just money. So one of the biggest plays in privacy is actually a ecosystem called the Secret Network. And the Secret Network was founded by a bunch of very, very, very smart guys, which we're going to talk to them today. But effectively, what they are is they are a blockchain that focuses on privacy. So David Coe says, excited to have invested in Secret Network and support the new ecosystem fund. Why I believe Secret is about to enter a period of parabolic growth. For the uninitiated, Secret is a layer 1 to have privacy-preserving transactions for smart contract by default. This means that people will not be able to see the balance, transactions, and data unless they've been viewing, unless they have a viewing key. While privacy is the default, you also have the option to be open about your data. Data is private to even the validators in the blockchain. In Web 2, privacy data security was something that was undervalued by people for a long time. However, eventually all consumers started realizing how important privacy was. Trillion-dollar companies like Apple eventually started building privacy-centric competitive advantage. I believe Web 3 is at an inflection point where the value of privacy and privacy-preserving smart contracts are about to be recognized by the market. The inflection point is something that Web 2 has gone through itself in a few years, and Secret Network is well positioned to do this. In fact, not only are they well positioned, they're probably the best guys to do it because they've been doing it since 2017. So we'll talk about that in a second. Secret Network is built on a fast, secure, battle-tested Cosmos, allowing up to 10,000 transactions per second with plus minus 6 block times. With IBC, which is the inter-blockchain bridge, I foresee Secret to be the de facto privacy chain on the Cosmos ecosystem. And UST adoption may also grow on the Secret Network. In other words, because Terra is also built on IBC or on Cosmos, and Secret is built on Cosmos, the two are kind of intercompatible. With a recently announced $400 million in funding, this was announced yesterday. So these guys raised $400 million, and they raised $400 million from, I would say, the biggest names in the ecosystem. So Hashed, Arrington XRP Capital, Fane Bushi, Huobi. What we're seeing here is we're seeing the first secret privacy-preserving blockchain raise a huge ecosystem fund. So now let's look at the price. You're looking at a blockchain that has a fully diluted valuation of about $1.5 to $2 billion, fully diluted valuation. When you compare that with, say, Solana, where you've got a much bigger fully diluted valuation, or Cardano, you're saying, hold on, this may actually be still a cheap entry. Now, it's quite tricky to look at the charts because you look at the charts and you see that if you look at the growth of the price, it has come from about $2 and gone to about $8. But at the same time, the total market cap right now is $1.3 billion. So if you believe that privacy in transactions is going to be a big theme, and I think that privacy in transactions is going to be a huge theme, then you may want to start dollar cost averaging into Secret Network, because the truth is, I don't know of anybody else that is as far as they are in this, and I don't know of anybody else that's raised money from these names with a $400 million fund. And you can see that some of the investors in this fund are Huobi, Kucoin, all linked to exchanges, which will just bring exchange listings. So I think this is something that you should be following. Now, I see that I've got Guy. I wonder if Guy's in the waiting room. Guy, are you with us, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Long time, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, very long time. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So you guys have been building and building and building, right?
Pretty much, yeah. We've been building in the shadows for a few years, and I think last year has been really, really good, and we've had like pretty explosive growth.
Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go through a quick, I know you quite well. I was one of your original investors back in 2017 when you guys launched Enigma, but I think the community doesn't know who you are. You've got a seriously impressive history in blockchain and secrecy. Maybe in like 2 lines, just run us through who you are and this passion for privacy and secrecy.
Sure. So in a past life, as you know, I've been a researcher. I was at MIT, where I was focused on blockchains and privacy and the intersection. That was in 2014, and I've written some of the most cited papers on blockchain and privacy. And as you know, very early on, we founded Enigma, which eventually turned into Secret Network, which is where we are today.
Okay, now, in a nutshell, describe or define secret network for me? I think I've done an okay job, but I imagine since you've written white papers on secrecy, you'd probably do a bit of a better job.
No, I mean, you've done great. You have done great. I think the emphasis, though, should be less on financial privacy or transactional privacy, which is extremely important. But I think people will over time realize that privacy is something that they just need to function, right? So if you think about NFTs and gaming and all that, I mean, think of a game of poker, right? How, like, there's no way to actually build poker on the blockchain because, like, you'd be able to see my hand and I'd be able to see your hand. And so there's no game. So privacy is not just a human right, which is extremely important, but it's also a fundamental technical need that you need in order to build like the complex new web that we call Web3. And when it comes to secret, we've taken that and we've put that as the most important part of the protocol, where where you have smart contracts, but in those smart contracts, the inputs, the state, the contract's database, and the output is encrypted. It's private. It's so private that even the validators, even the computers running the network can't see the information, and that opens the ability to build a lot of new applications that you just can't do today with blockchains.
Let's go through, I mean, poker is a great example, but let's look at a couple of other examples, because I just want to highlight to the viewers the different use cases of why privacy is so important on the blockchain. So poker is one. Give me perhaps one or two other examples.
Okay, so voting, right? Like, DAOs today, when you're thinking of a DAO, like where everyone can vote, it's pretty crazy. Today you can see who vote and how much. And in many chains, like the voting kind of resembles dictatorships, right? Like you see one big entity, like, a VC or a big holder vote for something, and then everyone else follow him and vote that way. And that's not really how democracies work, and how we want, governance tokens to work. So in secret, you can actually build private DAOs where I can vote, you can vote, we'll get the right tally, but I mean, you won't know who I voted to and vice versa. So that's one use case. The other use case is secret NFTs. So the joke about NFTs where you can like right-click save everything? Well, secret networks solve that, right? Because in secret network, you can have NFTs with private metadata, which means that you can have public metadata. Like there can be a part that you brag and show off, but the content, the interesting, the valuable content, you can keep a secret. So if you take the big Beeple painting that was sold for 69 million, well, I think a better way to do it would be to put a low-res watermarked version as the public NFT that everyone sees, but only the owner, only the buyer actually gets to see and download, the full high-res picture. So those are a couple more use cases.
Now, there's this whole thing about privacy. When you talk about privacy in blockchain, everyone immediately gets their guards up and they start talking about, oh, well, the authorities will never allow this, and Coinbase will never list this because this is exactly what everybody's scared of in blockchain. How do you overcome that? What's your response to that? How do you deal with the regulators when they talk to you about that?
So we have compliance in mind from day one. So first of all, secret itself is not a privacy coin. So secret is open, is traceable. That makes it much easier with exchanges and all that, as you're saying. However, you can turn any token on secret network into a privacy coin. So you can take secret and wrap it on and wrap it into something called secret, which then makes secret private. But on the base layer, it's not. And you can take even Ethereum. We talked about bridges from Cosmos to Ethereum. So we've had a bridge from Ethereum to our chain for about a year now. And you can take, for example, Ethereum, Monero, Bitcoin, and Luna, and many others, and you can wrap them into privacy tokens. But on the base layer, you can make secret traceable. Also, there's a concept of viewing keys. So, if you have a wallet then you can give, and you have private tokens in it, you can give a viewing key, a viewing only access to whomever you want. Like we give a viewing key to our accountants, for example, right? So that they can see our balance, but you can't.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's a game changer. Now, why did you build Secret on Cosmos? Why of all the options? I mean, you could have built your own chain. You could have. Why did you build it on Cosmos?
So actually, if you look at historically, our goal was to build it as a second layer to Ethereum.
Ethereum, yeah. That was Enigma, right?
That was Enigma. And then in 2019, we realized that it's not going to work. Ethereum is on its way to just be too expensive and it's too slow. And we decided to just drop everything and start from scratch. And then we went through a few options. You know, me being a technologist, I went really deep and I was very impressed with Cosmos. Cosmos did not have the ecosystem that it has today. It was very new, but I saw like their core and I realized that these guys are serious. They have real technology and we should probably use that as the basis of our next chain. That's reason number one. Reason number two is IBC, which was back then a dream, but now it's a reality. And reason number three is that in Cosmos, unlike in Polkadot, all chains are sovereign. All chains have their own coin. They don't have to rely on the base token, which in this case is Atom. So we're completely independent, and that was important for us.
So, I mean, since Luna is built on Cosmos IBC and you're built on Luna, does that mean that I can utilize a UST coin on Secret Network, or is that taking it one step too far?
No. You can definitely do that. And we have like collaborations in mind. And like Secret Network, both Secret Network and Terra have DEXs, and you can use Luna and UST and Secret on both of them. Like it's completely cross-chain.
Okay, now let's talk about building on Secret Network, but let's talk about it before the $400 million that we raised and then after the $400 million that we raised. Before the $400 million that we raised, how many adapts, what's being built on Secret?
So we have quite a few use cases already. I think there's about 50 that have been released so far. And I think there's like dozens and maybe even over 100 in the works. So quite an active and vibrant ecosystem. Some examples are Stash. Stash is an NFT marketplace for secret NFTs. It's similar to OpenSea. You can go to it, stash with a H.io. And it's really sleek. And there's already been like dozens of NFT drops. Now, again, remember, Secret has privacy. NFTs can have private metadata. Yeah, that's it. NFTs can have private metadata, so they do more interesting things as NFTs on other chains. There is Secret Swap, which is the largest DEX on Secret Network.
Is there a token for Secret Swap?
Yeah, there's a token called CeFi, SEFI. It's a governance token. It was fair launched and airdropped to Secret holders. By the way, there are going to be a lot of projects are building on Secret right now, and are going to airdrop their token to Secret holders and stakers. That's something to remember. So that's one DEX that's built on Secret Network, and then there's another DEX called Sienna. Sienna, I think it's SIENNA.network.
Okay.
So Sienna, by the way, Sienna is a team. For example, you asked other things that have been built before this. Sienna, I think they should get some credit for the ecosystem fund, because they went and they raised $12 million just to build on us, right? And they're not affiliated with the core team or anything. And you know that kind of showed us that Secret is at the right point in time, where like there can be, for projects, a lot of money to be made by building on top of us compared to others. So Sienna does a lot. Yep.
So it feels like you're getting into Secret now. You're getting into a base layer at the very base time, where there's a lot of money that's coming in to start building a lot of these applications. So it's almost like getting into Avalanche before all the TVL started to get locked into Avalanche, like getting into Cardano. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is there any other blockchain right now in the top 100 that is focused on privacy like this? And I'm not talking about privacy coins, because like you say, Secret is not a privacy coin. A privacy coin is just one application on a privacy network. Is there anybody else that is addressing this need like you guys have addressed it?
I'm gonna be a bit blunt. There's no one in the top 100 or 1,000 that does this. There's one coin in the top 100 that are trying to do this, but which is called Oasis. Their ticker is Rose, but they haven't released yet. So like as in terms of being in production, Secret it has been in production for over a year and is the only chain to do so. And if I have to bet, will be the only chain to do so in 2022.
Wow. Okay. Now the $400 million that you raised, was that raised using foundation tokens? So did you sell X amount of foundation tokens to raise $400 million? What were the mechanics of the $400 million raise?
So the mechanics, there has been dozens of millions of dollars raised from these funds. So any fund any fund that you see in the list has to have a secret position, which means they either bought on market beforehand or now, or they bought from our treasury, from the team's treasury. So right. So there were some of them who weren't in the ecosystem before. So they bought either the open market or from the treasury. That's not the 400 million. Then the 400 million itself is a commitment from all of these funds that are all secret holders to invest in companies and applications that are going to build on top of Secret. So
okay, so it's not a centralized treasury where you have a foundation which is allocating the money. It's these funds that are saying, look, collectively, we are putting aside 400 million to invest in projects.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Amazing. So from a development point of view, or I mean, I guess the protocol is now working, doing what it's supposed to do. What are the next milestones?
So there's a lot. There's a lot of it. So the network is, it's been battle tested, but we're already seeing like where we can improve in terms of scalability. So we're working on that. We're working on improving the privacy capabilities by supporting new types of hardware. So in our network, you need special servers, Intel servers. I mean, these are commodities, but Intel servers in order to function. So we're working on supporting more of these. There's really a lot to do on the base level. There's IBC 2.0. So
yeah,
IBC. So we released IBC support. IBC connects different Cosmos chains, for example, Terra to us and us to Osmosis, but it doesn't support smart contracts yet. So you can't call a smart contract on Terra and then chain it to a smart contract on Secret. You can't do that today. So we're working on enabling that. And there's a lot of improvement on the infrastructure level. And then on the product level, we're building a lot of interesting products on top of our network. For example, there's an ongoing Secret NFT auction right now where we partnered with Quentin Tarantino. It's been highly publicized, which is being dropped on our chain, and we worked on that together with him closely. And we're doing many more of these. Right.
Yeah. I've heard the stories. Guy, listen, man, we haven't spoken for a while. Holy shit, what you guys have done since the last time that we spoke is absolutely insane, man. Well
Thanks,
done.
Man. Appreciate it.
Cool. And listen, we'll get you back on the show, and you'll keep us upgrowing. You'll keep us updated on how you guys are doing.
Sounds good.
And we'll keep it a secret. We won't tell BitBoy. We won't tell BitBoy, but we'll keep it a secret, bro.
I think the secret is coming out.
All right, buddy. Chat soon. Alrighty, well that's secret. Again, the way I see it, if you believe that privacy transactions are going to be huge, and I don't mean like this is not about Monero and just a privacy coin, but it's a whole network around, like you said, building a game of poker around privacy. Now, using a privacy coin would just do one part of the transaction, which is the bet. But what about not showing the cards? I mean, if they ever build an Uber on the blockchain, let's just think about this. If they ever build an Uber on the blockchain, as a rider, by pressing the fetch me or ordering a car, effectively you'd be exposing your data of where you are to the whole world, which is crazy. It's crazy. And that's why you need a hidden blockchain. Now, you have an opportunity to buy Secret right now at a valuation of 1.3 billion. You can see the chart yourselves. It has gone up quite a bit. Like you can see the chart yourself. But it's still a market cap of 1.3 billion. Now, if you look at that, and let's compare it to, say, for example, Rose, which is Oasis. He mentioned it. So we'll look at Rose. The competitor range is Rose is a market cap of 1.6 billion, or a fully diluted of 4.5 billion, and they're not as far as Secret Network is. So that's the other side of it. And then you can say, well, look, let's compare it to normal blockchains. Let's compare the valuation of Secret Network to Cardano, Solana, because ultimately there's going to be a split. And you can see that Ethereum has a market cap of 400 billion, and Cardano has 45 billion, and Solana has 45 billion. So if you believe in privacy, secrets, which I do, and a full disclosure, I have been an investor in what originally started as Enigma since 2017 when they first did the idea. That's when I met the team. The team was so impressive. You guys have seen it. Guy has been writing he's been writing research at MIT on blockchain since 2014, specifically on privacy. So you get what you're dealing with here. So I'm not going to tell you whether to buy it now or not, because the price has gone up, but it is something that should be on your radar, and possibly this is one that you should be dollar cost averaging into every time there's a dip. Because if there's $400 million behind it to develop this ecosystem, and we do need a privacy network, and there's only two horses in the race right now by his own admission, which is Rose and Secret, you may want to look at Secret. Anyway, that's me. I'm going to go to the beach. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got a Friday banter. I know Vinny Lingham's in. I know Jose is in. I'm going to try to get hold of Arrington. I think it would be nice to get a little Arrington banter. Let's see if I can get Arrington on tomorrow. See you guys again tomorrow. Don't miss it. Whoa. I need to do giveaways. I promised you guys giveaways. I can't not do giveaways again. Let's quickly get the website list. Here we go. So we have the website list over here. These are the people that have interacted with the website. There's 4,000 of them or whatever. Let me quickly go through it, and you can see that there's absolutely no way I can control it. And I'm going to give it away to Anil_6203. You win $100 just for interacting with the website. In Contacts. Okay, you're going to win yourself $100 of Syn City pre-IDO. And let's pick one more winner. We have Sylfeston. You'll win. We'll get hold of you guys, and we'll give you guys $100 of pre-IDO tokens in Syn City. And in fact, let me do one more to someone in the chat. If you want it in the chat, let me know. You got about 10 seconds to let me know in the chat if you want Syn City pre-IDO. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Come on, guys. Pick a comment. Come on. Okay, there we go. You are a winner. Blam, you're a winner. I'll see you guys again tomorrow for Friday banter. Until then, get onto the website, because all the alpha is being dropped on the website. And trade well, my friends. That motherfucker's smart, huh?
Yeah, very. And he's been doing it in the shadows for a long time.
Yeah, nice. Smart. 2014.